Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my two senses. And today's topic is why do people commit suicide or why do people have suicidal thoughts? What you're gonna start with is communication. What do I mean by communication? I mean we don't have proper channels where people can be able to communicate or even express themselves. We don't have proper ways. We don't even encourage people to speak up for themselves more. And did you know that men commit more suicides than women do? And why do you think this is so? First of all, I would tend to think that it's because we have been brought up in the kind of society that portrays that when men try to speak up for their feelings, when they try to say what they feel, they are intimidated or they are considered to be weak, of which honestly speaking we need to put that aside because men are human too and they do have feelings. And speaking about your feelings, telling somebody how you feel does not make you weak, does not make you any less of a man. So we've been brought up in this kind of environment. And apart from that environment, it's just that most of our men generally don't speak about their feelings. I don't know if it's their biology or I really can't explain, but most of them don't speak up about their feelings or what they are going through. So they end up suffering in silence. And when they feel like life has beaten them against the wall, they resort to suicide. But for in women's case, we're not saying that women don't commit suicide, they do, but in most women's cases, women speak up. It may not be in the right channel, it may not be in the right way, but they do try to speak up. But in terms of communication, we mean even the proper channels for both genders, we don't even have the proper places to do all these, to be able to express our feelings, say how we feel about things. We don't have those places. And if we had such places and communication channels, we would reduce the number to a certain level, right? I tend to believe that the number would go a bit lower if we were able to speak up, if they had places to speak, if they had avenues to speak about their feelings. And I'm gonna talk about communication in another aspect, in the where we have the aspect of parent child relationship. Most parents, they speak at their children, not with their children. I don't know if you're getting the difference. Speaking at you is telling you things, like I'm just telling you, but speaking with you, communicating with you, is getting to hear your feedback as well. When I tell you something, you tell me your feedback. And this speaking at, what tends to happen is that you speak at your child so many times instead of with them, that even when they have an issue, they actually can't come to you because they don't feel like you communicate with them, like you get to their level of understanding. In this book I've been reading, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, there's a habit there that say that seek to understand first before you understood. So there is no way you would get to understand your child's problem if you're not trying to understand them. Like, you're just listening but you're not trying to understand. You see, you do not. And that's why you might have difficulty understanding what they're going through because you're not trying to understand, you're just listening probably, and speaking at them instead of with them, to get to know them, to actually know why this thing is bothering them. The other reason I would say people commit suicide or perhaps suicidal thoughts is the stigma that we still have around it. I know I had of a case, is it either last year or the year before that, that a husband had committed suicide. But that is not what they wrote in the eulogy. They wrote a totally different story. And it's not the first case. I'm sure you and me, we know other cases where people have committed suicide. And instead of actually accepting that this person did commit suicide and they do have a problem, they hide it. They hide behind other things and they say other things happen instead of just agreeing that this person did have a problem. We didn't see it, we didn't help, or they reached out, we didn't help them, and they committed suicide. Like, we just have to accept it. Hiding and trying to cover it up doesn't help the people who are already suffering or having suicidal thoughts. It does not help them at all, because the moment we keep talking about it, we speak up about it, is when they can also be able to get comfortable enough to speak about those thoughts, to tell us their problems enough so that we can be able to help them before they get to the point of committing suicide. The other thing I would say that contributes is not having enough knowledge. Like, if somebody close to you was suffering from, the reason I'm saying not having enough knowledge is because a person who commits suicide does not just wake up one day and commit suicide out of the blues. They've probably suffered from depression, low self esteem, like they've suffered from a few things apart from just having suicidal thoughts. And if we were keen enough to see when they were suffering, maybe we would have been able to help, we'd have been able to reach out to them and help them. And even the people who are suffering from depression, low self esteem, having suicidal thoughts, they also don't have enough knowledge of where to reach out or who to reach out to. And thus, they keep quiet with their issues because they don't have proper places, they don't have proper knowledge of where they can seek help. And that is one of the reasons I would say people have or commit suicide.
These are but a few reasons. You can engage with me in the comments and tell me other reasons.